Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And I need you to celebrate this with me because we are going to dive into the immediate response and fallout from the media around the Chevron Deference destruction. And I want to say something really clear. Before I ask you to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like the video, and all that, I want to say something really, really important. Understand that everything that we have fought, everything that we have brought our rights back from the brink of destruction has been because of an everyday individual. I want to really drive this home because this is only possible because people just like you stood up and took action on something. You need more proof on this? Let's go into the actual Heller decision. I know Dick Heller, everyday guy. Let's talk about the Bruin decision. Guys who wanted to carry their own firearms. Ooh, the audacity. Cargill decision. A gun shop owner who wanted to sue the ATF for their outlandish and overreach of federal bureaucracy. Check. And now the Chevron deference, herring fishermen. The power that you have, and something that I have said consistently on this channel since I started it, is greater than they want you to know that it exists. They do not want you to know that you have power to influence your trajectory and those that come before you or after you. That's the whole point. We are so much more powerful, and look what we can accomplish. Make sure that you guys have that subscription on. Make sure you're liking the videos and sharing these out and leaving comments, because every single time that you do, it may be a small moment, it may be a small action, but it is culminating in things like we're about to cover and making the media go, ugh. Seriously, all because of you guys. Now, with that said, let's get on to saving our country and passing it on to our generation, the next generation, better than we got it. Check this out. We're going to dive in to a CBS report around the Chevron deference. And the one thing that I want to start this off and say it's really fascinating is how the left, when they're talking about cases like this, they have to explain it to their audience before they even can say how they feel about it. You guys all knew within 2 hours exactly what we were talking about this morning. Check this out.
Let's take you back now to the Supreme Court, where we are already getting in some rulings, and we are expecting some rulings on controversial cases. This morning, they did rule on one case involving homelessness and loitering laws that came down earlier this morning, and another one just came in. The Supreme Court has overturned a landmark 40-year-old decision that gave federal agencies broad regulatory power. Still on the docket, cases involving Donald Trump's presidential immunity claims and a case dealing the federal obstruction charge used against hundreds of January 6th rioters.
So right off the bat, before I even get to the defense attorney, which I've got for you right here, because he loses his mind, because he truly understands what this means, the anchor is going around the high-profile cases of presidential immunity and the J6 rioters and all these things, and get them outraged. Meanwhile, Chevron deference is like a mole that is underneath the entire foundation of your house, and you've been doing it for 25 years, and now all of a sudden the foundation falls through the ground. That is quite literally what's happening to the executive bureaucratic agencies today. Again, because people just like you took action. All right? We have such an amazing opportunity to hand the generation behind us a better generation, or better rights and better interaction with the government than we had. Oh, God, I'm so proud of every one of you. I can't believe we're in this fight like this. It's crazy. It's so awesome. But now, let's get to this next guy. Let's get to the defense attorney, and he actually starts sounding the alarm. They're not talking about the high-profile stuff and, the Trump and the J6. He's like, yeah, nah, this is a sledgehammer, and holy crap. Check this out.
Prosecutor Scott Frederickson rejoins me now to talk about this. So, Scott, let's talk about that ruling that just came in. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday when we were talking about the EPA decision. What about this case? And you sort of previewed what we were going to see this time around.
Yeah. Well, this is a momentous decision, one that may not have a high profile like the immunity decision. But this case takes a sledgehammer to the power of federal agencies to interpret and administer the regulations that they're charged with enforcing. That may be the EPA, that could be the Labor Department, all the different agencies. What we're talking about here is what's called the Chevron Doctrine. It dates back 40 years, and basically it said, look, when a federal agency is enforcing and administering a law of Congress and there's some ambiguity, courts have to defer to the agency that enforces that regulation for its interpretation of that regulation.
Let me translate this for you. And this is why he's explaining it, because they simply don't understand how to relate to their audience, because their audience doesn't cover Second Amendment issues and really important issues of our rights like we do, because we are nose to the grindstone in our community. We are always watching because they've been beating us like, I don't know, a rug so long for our rights, right? This is the fox watching the hen house, and then the fox gets to set the rules to watch the hen house, okay? So effectively, the bureaucratic agencies got to fill in the voids and the ambiguity in the law that Congress intentionally left ambiguous. Think Safer Communities Act, where the ATF went run amok because of John Cornyn, and John Cornyn throws a temper tantrum because that's not the intent of his law. Well, he's an idiot. But anyway, he set him up for it. But this is a perfect example. The fox watches the hen house, and then when the owner comes to the hen house, the fox goes, "What? I interpreted your rules. Look, it's fine." And the owner goes, "It's a good point. Keep it up, fox." That's exactly what just got destroyed. Now, I got one more thing for you, because this is where you start to see the left and the people who want big governments, bureaucrats, the deep state, the leftists, the statists, the people who want an all-empowered state that is not accountable to the actual population. That's the big problem. You have the population who's voting right here, and they're holding the representatives accountable. Well, the representatives aren't the ones interpreting the law and making law. It's the bureaucrats. The bureaucrats are insulated from the actual representatives, and the representatives are insulated from the bureaucrats' actions because they're not the ones that did it. You see the game? All right, so now I'm going to throw one more thing for you, and I'm going to show you what they are. I'm telling you, you're going to hear a lot more about this, and they are going to flip their wigs, because the bureaucratic, deep state, everlasting executive bureaucracies just got a big punch in the nose. All right?
Now, the conservatives said, you've gone too far, though. The agencies are basically a power unto themselves. In this case, we had a New Jersey commercial fisherman who was required to take a monitor of the federal agency involved in fisheries along when he was out fishing. They didn't challenge the fact of having a monitor, but the agency said, and you have to pay them $700 a day. And that's what was challenged. And so conservatives said, look, that's not what the statute says. That's up to Congress, or at least the courts, to decide. Regardless, we're going to see a huge rollback of what the agencies have been able to achieve. And, you know, the EPA is probably the best example of what's going to change now in this country.
We're going to see a huge rollback of what the agencies have been able to achieve. You know what that translates to? Control. We've been able to reinterpret and redefine things in order for control. We've been able to change definitions within the statutes of the Gun Control Act. Control. You have to understand how massively important this is, not only for this generation, to the next generation. This is the biggest case I've seen probably in my lifetime. Bruin is a very, very high marker as well. But understand this, the Chevron Doctrine getting overturned encompasses everything in our space, not just a specific subset of rights, the Second Amendment. It's a broad-based approach. Again, I want to reiterate, if anyone tells you that you can't make an impact, if anyone says I'm too small, if anyone feels like they have no say in their country or the outcomes of which they want to have a say in, a herring fisherman, a gun range owner, a concealed carry owner, and a security guard all set the last 4 landmark decisions of gun rights, which pushed us even further forward. The next generation is going to benefit from those 4 people. And this latest one was literally from a herring fisherman. You matter. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.